we drove out to Schenectady, New York, and met up with Dan and his producer and his other co-host over there, and we did a show, and that was a lot of fun. I have to say, it was a good time, and we did. What did we do, Charlie? We did like a 2-hour show, I think.
We did. We did. We did 2 hours for sure. But I think Dan's going to break it up into two different shows.
Right, because I'm sure we'll bore the
So
heck out of everybody.
not out of us. We had a great time.
It was good for me. And like, here's it, the irony of all this was, we were like, we could do this, and as we're crossing the border of Massachusetts to New York, it starts to snow. And by the time we get to the studio, it's like snowing. And when we got out of the studio, it's like really snowing. And then when I was driving home, it was whiteout. I mean, the conditions were just awful. And I think it was supposed to be like a 3-hour drive, and it took me like 5 hours, I think. It was pretty awful. But you know what? It was a lot of fun. We had a good time doing the show, and I think it's rolling out, the end of this week maybe, Charlie? Because it's his Christmas special, so I think he wants to get both parts out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. So people should check it out. We'll obviously share it. It was good. It was good.
All right. Last story today, guys, because we do have to get out of here at the bottom of the hour. I got to turn around and get ready for polite society. But the list went out of New Mexico. Over the last 3 years, New Mexico lawmakers have passed bills expanding background check requirements and allowing guns to be seized from individuals deemed to pose a threat to themselves or others. Now, with the re-election of Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, more gun safety proposals are expected to be brought forward during the 60-day session that starts next month. Measures likely to be considered include raising the minimum age for purchasing certain assault rifles from 18 to 21, and making failure to safely store firearms out of children's reach a crime, and creating a new Office of Gun Violence Prevention within the State Department of Health. I will say this: if 18 to 21 goes through, SAF has already got multiple lawsuits up and in the federal court system. We'll add another one. The failure to safely store firearms out of children's reach, making that a crime. How are you going to enforce that? Are you going to go into each and every home and A, find out if they do have firearms, B, find out where those firearms are, and 3, make sure they're in a proper state-approved device? Yeah, I see a lot of issues there.
This is something that we've battled in New Jersey. Charlie, you have to battle it in Massachusetts. And, these proposals, so-called safe storage proposals, and any of these lawmakers and policymakers that, want to sit here and say that, this is about public safety, and it's about the children, it's about, suicide prevention. That's all fine and dandy, but it's like, you have this law where now it's a crime to not lock up the firearm the way thou shalt do it. Here's the thing. The law does nothing. Just like most of these other laws, it does nothing because, all it's going to be is an enhancement to something else. Because how is somebody going to know that the firearm wasn't stored properly until there's some sort of a real investigation? Like, this isn't something you stumble upon on a traffic stop, right? So something's going to happen, and then what is this going to be? Insult to injury to whatever situation, okay? And fill in the blank of whatever it could be, from the theft of a firearm or whatever, somebody tampering with it from the household that's not supposed to, or, we're not going to know until, after something happens, and it's just, let's just tack on some more charges. And the people that are looking to not criminalize everything under the sun and not put people in prison are just making more ways to enhance, sentencing. And actually what it turns into is a bargaining chip when it comes to, plea deals. That's what it turns into.
Yeah. Charlie, your
Uh,
thoughts, bud?
Absolutely. About 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, there was a 7-year-old child took a loaded handgun to school in one of the crappier parts of Boston, and you. How did he get? Obviously, we know that 7-year-olds are not going to gun stores and buying handguns. We know that's already illegal. Somebody kept it someplace where it should have been locked and secured. I'm going on a limb and say this person probably did not have a gun license, probably did not keep it, obviously did not keep it locked and secured properly. And why should the state tell me what I need to do to lock my guns up because somebody who's not being responsible is not being responsible? They don't keep their firearm locked up properly. And the only way that they're, like you said, the only way they're going to know if we have these locked up properly is if they come into our house and do possibly an illegal search and seizure, breaking the Fourth Amendment, and look around and then if they say, hey, listen, you know what, cable locks aren't good enough because somebody can just cut them with a cable. Okay, you have to spend $3,000 on a 600-pound Liberty safe for your one handgun, or for the 2 or 3 guns that you have, and then it's going to be
let's
a
face
financial
it,
burden.
There are a lot of especially new gun owners that are from, let's say they're in rough neighborhoods, they may be lower income. They struggle to get the money together for that high point. They struggle to get training, ammunition for training. Coming up with $6,000 for a safe? Come on, and where are you going to put that big monstrosity in that tiny little 2-bedroom apartment?
A tiny little, right? And you can only hope that the house structure itself is going to hold the weight of the safe.
Yeah. Oh, I can.
So it's yeah.
Let's go back to the 1980s. How many of you remember water beds coming through the floor of apartment buildings? I mean, that's kind of weight we're usually talking about here.
Absolutely. It's ridiculous that they're cracking down again, and still they're cracking down on the people that are going through the rigmarole to get a license to have a gun legally, and then they're telling you how they want you to keep it locked and secured. If everyone in the house has a gun license, then you can leave it on the kitchen table, right? Because everyone is a licensed person, and then that should be okay, right? Like, that would make sense to leave a loaded gun on the top of the fridge if everyone in the house has got a gun license. What if you live by yourself? Then do you have to keep them locked and secured when you're home? I mean, this is.
I got to get my 7-year-old grandson a license. Then, yeah. Let's. I got one comment in here. I want to get in here. Let's reframe that to stored in such a way as unavailable for defensive purposes, and once done, eliminates the need for self-defense. Therefore, firearms. Bingo, Larry. Larry wins the internet for today.
Yeah, absolutely. I called into the talk show out of Boston one time, and it's people I used to listen to on a regular basis, and they were chuckling about, well, if you have your gun properly locked up and secured and your ammunition somewhere else, you're not going to have time to go get your gun and defend yourself from someone that broke in your house. And I tried calling in, I did not get on, but I wanted to call them and say, hey, listen, you know what? I live by Pogo. I live by Pants On Gun On. So if I'm taking a nap with a movie, taking a nap on the couch while a movie's on a Saturday afternoon, I've got a gun on me just because it's the way I live.
All right, we are down past the bottom of the hour. John, I'm going to start with you. Anything you want to plug on our way out the door today?
You can find me at thepenpatriot.com. I am always looking for news tips, so don't be shy. So those of you, if you hear something or see something that you think might be interesting about the Second Amendment, you can email me at john@thepenpatriot.com. And, of course, there's my book, Decoding Firearms, an easy-to-read guide on general gun safety and use, which is available on Amazon.
And
as a
doesn't show up
Kindle
well on a
and
green screen.
it does not, as a Kindle and a paperback book, as well as at Anthony Calandra's Gun for Hire store, his gun store, if you don't want to buy it from Amazon.
All right, Charlie. What? Of course, riding shotgun with Charlie. Anything else you want to? Anything else you want to plug today, man?
No, just if people have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. You can listen to the show in podcast form on Spotify and iHeartRadio and on Apple Podcasts. And if you want to check out Writing Shotgun with Charlie, go to armedlifestylemagazine.com and check out the newer interviews I do with people I've had on my show.
All right. On my end, I want to pronounce that in 26 and a half minutes. Stay tuned right here. We're going to be doing Polite Society Podcast. And our guest tonight, you may have heard of the guy, John Petrolino. We'll be talking specifically about some things he's written about, some things that are going on in his home state of New Jersey. So that happens in now 26 minutes. So thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will catch you next time.